What if I told you that over 10,000 affairs and broken promises lurk behind the biggest names in rock and roll, turning backstage into a battlefield of lies and betrayal? From Robert Plant and his openly reckless affairs to Jimmy Page and the hidden relationships he kept from the world. Here are 25 biggest cheaters in rock and roll history. One of the biggest rock and roll stars in history, Elvis Presley was loved by millions, but behind his fame, he had a troubled life. He was married to Priscilla Presley, but their marriage was not as happy as it seemed. He was often unfaithful, and Priscilla had to live with his constant betrayal. Priscilla met Elvis when she was only 14 years old. He influenced her life in many ways and controlled her choices. When they got married in the late 1960s, she hoped their love would last. But Elvis could not stay loyal. He was surrounded by fame and temptation, and he had affairs with many women, including Hollywood actresses and beauty queens. His close friends, known as the Memphis Mafia, helped keep his secrets. One of his most well-known affairs was with Anne Margaret, his co-star in the movie Viva Las Vegas. Their connection was strong, and Priscilla knew about it. He also had relationships with Sybil Shepherd, Linda Thompson, and many others. While he lived a life of fame and excitement, Priscilla felt trapped and alone. Eventually, Priscilla decided to leave him. When she had her own relationship outside of their marriage, Elvis was furious. He could not accept betrayal, even though he had been unfaithful for years. Their marriage fell apart in the early 1970s, and his personal struggles only got worse. His reckless choices did not just break his family, they also played a part in his decline. 2. John Lennon. A famous musician and a symbol of peace, John Lennon had a complicated personal life. Before Yoko Ono became his partner, he was married to Cynthia Powell. She was with him before he became a star, but their relationship suffered as his fame grew. Even though Cynthia hoped he would change, Lennon was not faithful to her. When Beatlemania took over the world, women wanted to be with him, and he often gave in to temptation. Cynthia tried to ignore the truth, but it became impossible to hide. The biggest betrayal happened when she came home from a trip and found Yoko Ono in their house, wearing Cynthia's robe. Lennon did not apologize or try to fix things. He simply moved on. Even after he was with Yoko, Lennon continued to have affairs. Some people thought they were the perfect couple, but those who knew them saw the problems. At one point, Yoko even encouraged him to have a relationship with May Pang, his assistant, hoping it would help their marriage. Lennon spoke about love and peace, but he struggled to be faithful in his own life. He wrote beautiful songs and inspired many people, but his personal relationships were filled with heartbreak and mistakes. 3. Mick Jagger. The famous singer of the rock band the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger was known for living life wildly. Many women liked him, and he dated whoever he wanted. From the very start, Mick had many girlfriends, and he never changed. Love, marriage, and even having kids did not stop him from dating many people. His first serious girlfriend was Marianne Faithfull. She loved Mick deeply, but he was not loyal. He even dated her best friend, Anita Pallenberg. Later, he married Bianca Jagger in the 1970s, but staying loyal to one person was not something Mick could do. Bianca said their marriage ended before it even really started. Mick's longest relationship was with Jerry Hall. People thought this would be different, but he still cheated and lied. Jerry stayed with him for a long time, even though he hurt her many times. But when Mick had a child with another woman, Luciana Gimenez, Jerry decided it was too much, finally left him. Even then, Mick moved on quickly. As he got older, Mick still dated many women. He dated famous models and rich women. His charm made people forgive him no matter what he did. Unlike other famous people who tried to hide their cheating, Mick was open and honest about his life. He never pretended to be someone different. 4. David Bowie. A famous singer who was always changing his look and style, David Bowie loved making new personalities, both in music and real life. He did not follow anyone else's rules. His marriage to Angie Bowie was unusual from the start. They lived a life filled with riches and excitement, but they did not follow normal marriage rules. People said they both agreed it was okay to see other people, but even without rules, some wondered if this was still wrong. David dated many famous and beautiful women like actors, models, and other singers. One special girlfriend was Ava Cherry, a singer who stayed with him for many years. She knew she was not the only one. Many people talked about him dating famous women who even dated Mick Jagger. There were even stories about David and Mick having a secret relationship, making people more curious about his life. He did not think commitment meant staying with just one person. David moved from one relationship to another, never staying very long. Even after marrying Iman, his life before was still full of secrets and exciting stories. People knew he was a great artist, but being loyal in love was something he found very hard to do. 5. Keith Richards. Known as the bad boy of rock and roll, Keith Richards was just as guilty of cheating as his bandmate Mick Jagger, though Mick got more attention for it. He loved breaking rules and did not believe in being loyal to one person. He didn't just cheat. He enjoyed the trouble it caused. His most famous relationship was with Anita Pallenberg. They had a strong but difficult love, and everyone knew they were both seeing other people. The biggest scandal was when Anita was said to have cheated on Keith with Mick Jagger, shocking fans everywhere. Even though he was angry, Keith had cheated many times himself. For him, love was never about being loyal. It was about living freely, even if people got hurt. After Anita, Keith kept living wildly. He had many girlfriends who came and went quickly. Each new girl fell for him easily, but he soon moved on. When he married Patty Hansen, some thought he had finally settled down. But could someone who loved freedom and adventure so much really stay with one person? People say Keith never felt sorry for cheating. He thought it was just part of his life. Did he ever truly love anyone, or was he too wild and restless to belong to just one person? 6. Eric Clapton. Known for more than just his music, Eric Clapton didn't just cheat. He did something even worse. He betrayed his close friend, George Harrison, by falling in love with George's wife, Pattie Boyd. Very beautiful and the inspiration for many famous songs, Pattie was married to George until Eric decided he wanted her. He wrote a song called Layla, showing his deep sadness because he couldn't have her. When Pattie rejected him, he got very upset and began using substances to cope with the pain. But his desire did not end there. After finally marrying Pattie, Eric continued cheating on her with other women. The worst betrayal happened when he had a child with another woman while still married to Pattie. Heartbroken, she left him. It's strange because he wrote beautiful songs about true love and loyalty. But in real life, Eric Clapton could not stop cheating and hurting those he claimed to love. 7. Bruce Springsteen. A famous singer known for songs about everyday life and working people, Bruce Springsteen was loved by fans because his songs felt honest and true. But in his own life, things weren't always clear and simple. He married an actress named Julianne Phillips. At first, it seemed like Bruce had everything: fame, money, and a beautiful wife. But soon, things became difficult. He traveled often for concerts, and this made their marriage hard. While touring, Bruce became close with Patty Scialfa, a singer in his band. Patty and Bruce shared a special connection that went beyond music. People around them could easily see their strong feelings for each other. During a tour in the late 1980s, photographers noticed them spending a lot of time together. Then a famous photo appeared showing Bruce and Patty hugging in Rome. This photo proved what many had suspected. Julianne felt hurt by this, and the public was shocked. Fans who believed in his songs about honesty and loyalty felt confused and upset. His marriage to Julianne ended in divorce in 1989, and he began officially dating Patty. Bruce and Patty married in 1991 and stayed together for many years. But some people still wonder if his early actions were right. His music is about learning from mistakes, but in real life, even famous people sometimes make choices that hurt others. 8. Bono. The famous singer from a band called U2, Bono has been married to his wife, Allie Hewson, since 1982. Unlike many rock stars, he always seemed different from other famous musicians because he stayed away from trouble like substances and scandal. However, there have always been stories that he might have had secret relationships with other women. These stories were never proven true, but many people talked about them. People often saw Bono with famous women like actress Penelope Cruz and models Christy Turlington and Helena Christensen. Because they spent time together, some people wondered if these were just friendships or something more. He never talked about these rumors, so no one knows for sure what really happened. The life of a rock star is full of exciting things, like traveling around the world, staying in fancy hotels, and attending late-night parties. These things can make it hard for someone to stay loyal to their partner. Bono never publicly admitted to doing anything wrong, but people still wonder if he was always faithful. Even though he avoided big scandals, the rumors about his life show that it can be hard for famous people to live without questions and doubts. Bono chose not to speak about these stories, keeping his private life mysterious. Both Bruce Springsteen and Bono show us that even very famous people have problems and make choices that aren't perfect. Their stories remind us that everyone, famous or not, can make mistakes and face questions from others about the choices they make. 9. Sting. The singer for a famous band called The Police, Sting was known for being wise and thoughtful. He wrote songs that made people think deeply about love and life, and many saw him as not just a musician, but also a poet. For a long time, people saw his marriage to Trudy Styler as very strong. This seemed unusual because many famous musicians often had broken marriages. But Sting had secrets in his past. Before marrying Trudy Styler, he was married to an actress named Frances Tomelty. Their marriage ended in a very public way when he fell in love with his wife's best friend, Trudy. This hurt Frances deeply and became one of the most famous scandals in rock music. After marrying Trudy, there were still rumors about him being unfaithful. People talked about Sting having relationships outside his marriage. He also became famous for talking openly about personal topics, like unusual ways of experiencing love. This made people wonder if he believed in staying faithful or if he liked to explore outside of marriage. No one has proven he was unfaithful again, but many people still wonder. Sting is charming and talented, and some question whether he used this charm off stage too. Even after many years, he and Trudy are still married. They appear very strong and happy together, but people still ask questions because of his complicated past. 10. Phil Collins. Another famous singer whose music touched millions of hearts, Phil Collins often wrote songs about sadness, love, and loss. Many people believed his songs came from personal pain, but he was not just someone who suffered from love. Sometimes he caused the pain himself. Collins was famous for not being faithful in his relationships. He had several marriages, and many ended badly. His second wife, Jill Tavelman, faced a very public breakup. People said he ended their marriage by sending a fax. He denied this, but many people still believed it. Later, Phil married Orianne Seavey. She became one of his biggest loves, but also his biggest problem. Their marriage followed a familiar pattern. First deep love, then lies and broken trust. His mistakes cost him a lot of money and caused much sadness. Despite all this, Collins did not lose many fans. His music and honesty in interviews protected his image. People saw him as someone who felt great sadness, not as someone who caused pain. But the truth was clear. He hurt many people he claimed to love. Today, people remember him as both a talented musician and a person who struggled with love and honesty. His story is one of mistakes, broken promises, and lessons learned the hard way. 11. Eddie Van Halen. Famous for playing guitar, Eddie Van Halen was called a legend because he could make music that amazed everyone. But behind the bright lights and cheering fans, his life was not simple. Eddie had problems he hid from the world. Married to a famous actress named Valerie Bertinelli, he and his wife seemed happy to fans. But things were different when no one was watching. Eddie often cheated on Valerie. He made mistakes over and over again, especially when he was on tour. Traveling from city to city, he faced many temptations and often gave in. The world of concerts and tours was filled with bad choices. People there broke rules and did whatever they wanted. Valerie tried hard to ignore Eddie's mistakes because she wanted their love to last. But even strong love can't survive too many hurts. Besides cheating, he also struggled with substances and alcohol. These bad habits made things worse. Eddie's problems slowly ruined their marriage until nothing was left. In the end, divorce was the only choice. Valerie later said she still loved him even after all the pain. It was a sad truth because he had caused her so much hurt. 12. Rod Stewart. Another famous singer known for making mistakes with women, Rod Stewart didn't try to hide it. He was open about his life and didn't mind what people thought. He sang songs that touched people's hearts, but in real life, he often hurt those closest to him. Married to Alana Hamilton, Rod saw his marriage fall apart. He was always looking for excitement and fun, and this hurt their relationship. Later, he fell in love with Rachel Hunter, but again, his love for excitement was stronger than his promises to stay loyal. The special thing about Rod was that he always told the truth. He didn't make up stories or lies to hide his mistakes. He joked about it and accepted who he was. Some people liked his honesty, but others saw it as proof he could never change. Even as he grew older and settled down, people always remembered his past. Rod believed that cheating was just part of his life, something he could not avoid. He lived a life that many people dreamed about, but he also faced the problems that came with it. 13. Ozzy Osbourne. Famous for his wild life as a rock star, Ozzy Osbourne was known for crazy behavior, loud music, and partying. But behind all the fame, he had a secret that shocked everyone. His biggest mistake was cheating on his wife, Sharon Osbourne. In 2016, people were surprised when Sharon found out he had been cheating. Ozzy had a long relationship with a hairstylist named Michelle Pugh, but this was not his only mistake. He had been unfaithful many times before, with at least 6 different women. Fans were very surprised because Sharon had always supported him, even when he had problems with substances and alcohol. Things got worse when Ozzy said he had a compulsive behavior and went into therapy. Many people wondered if he really had an addiction or if he just wanted an excuse. Sharon felt hurt and embarrassed. She openly wondered if she could ever trust him again. Even after the pain, Sharon and Ozzy stayed together. In 2017, they renewed their wedding promises to each other, but things never felt completely right again. His image was now hurt by this betrayal, and people wondered if he could ever recover from it. 14. Gene Simmons. Another famous rock star known for being wild, Gene Simmons was part of the band Kiss, famous for their exciting performances, makeup, and crazy lifestyles. He was known for sticking out his long tongue, breathing fire, and partying non-stop. But Gene had a big problem too. Unlike other rock stars who tried to hide cheating, he was open about it. Gene claimed he had been with over 5,000 women and even kept pictures of every woman he had been with. It wasn't just wild rock behavior. It was an obsession. His longtime partner, Shannon Tweed, knew about his behavior and tried to live with it. She laughed about it publicly at first, but later it started to hurt her. Around 2010, Shannon began to feel very unhappy about his behavior and finally told him how she felt. This moment was important because Gene had to face what he had done. Even though he promised he would stop cheating, Shannon found it hard to believe him. His past was filled with women, lies, and arrogance. In 2011, after many years together, he finally married Shannon. It surprised everyone because nobody thought he could settle down. People wondered if someone like Gene, who had lived such a wild life, could really change. Could he ever truly be faithful after years of cheating and partying? 15. Paul Stanley. The famous singer of Kiss, Paul Stanley, was loved by fans because he seemed nice and romantic, not just a wild rock star. Unlike his bandmate, Gene Simmons, he didn't brag about dating many women. Instead, Paul quietly hid his secrets, but he also hurt people by not telling the truth. During the best years of Kiss, many women liked him. They thought Paul was special and caring, but secretly, he dated several people at the same time. Gene Simmons openly dated many women, but Paul pretended to care deeply, making his lies more hurtful. His girlfriends didn't know about each other, which caused sadness when they found out. 16. Jimmy Page. A famous guitar player known for his amazing music and mysterious image, Jimmy Page fascinated fans. But behind the music, he had many secrets. He didn't just enjoy fame. He planned his secret life carefully. Quietly dating many people, Jimmy was supposed to be committed to just one, but still pursued models, groupies, and famous figures. Unlike other rock stars who openly dated many women, he kept everything secret, hiding his relationships to protect his image. One secret relationship was especially troubling. Jimmy met a girl when she was very young and kept her hidden from everyone. His secrets didn't only hurt his partners, they affected his friends, the band, and the public. Even as he had a family with a well-known model, he continued having secret dates. 17. Robert Plant. Famous for his voice, golden hair, and powerful performances, Robert Plant was adored by fans who thought he was wonderful. On stage, he seemed magical and perfect. But off stage, his life was very different. Married but often acting as if he wasn't, Robert openly dated many women. Unlike Jimmy, who kept secrets, he proudly showed off his girlfriends. Everyone knew about his relationships, even though he had a wife waiting at home. One woman was special to him, not just another date, but someone he took everywhere, even on tours. His wife knew nothing about it, yet even this special woman was not enough. Robert kept dating more women wherever he went. People who loved him learned he could not be faithful. Eventually, his marriage ended, but he didn't change his ways. Even when he became less famous, the stories about his relationships continued. Robert sang about love, but his actions showed something different. His life was filled with broken promises and hurt feelings. 18. Jerry Lee Lewis. Famous for playing rock music, Jerry Lee Lewis was also known for his troubled life. He didn't treat people well, especially the women he married. Getting married 7 times, he never understood loyalty. Instead, he hurt the feelings of his wives by cheating and treating them badly. He didn't truly love or respect them. Instead, he controlled and hurt them emotionally. Some of these relationships even turned dangerous. The worst thing he did was marry a girl who was still a teenager. This shocked everyone because she was too young, and he was much older. His music career fell apart, but he didn't change. Even while married to her, he continued seeing other women. His wives were often scared of his temper because he got angry very easily. 2 of them died in very sad and mysterious ways. People wondered if their deaths were just accidents or if something worse happened. His life was always surrounded by sadness, pain, and darkness. Jerry Lee Lewis's music made him famous, but he hurt many people along the way. 19. Axl Rose. The lead singer for the band Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose was loved for his music, but his personal life was a mess. He hurt the women he dated because he was dishonest and unfaithful. Pretending to love deeply, he used his charm to control people. His relationships always ended badly because he wasn't trustworthy. Even as he grew older, Axl didn't change, always hurting others. People remember him for his music, but also for the pain he caused. Playing guitar in the same band as Axl Rose, Slash was also famous but had his own problems. He lived a life filled with bad choices and didn't even try to be faithful. Treating women like they weren't important, he moved quickly from one to another without caring about their feelings. His first marriage to Renee Saran looked great from the outside, but inside it was filled with lies. Slash secretly dated many women while married. Eventually, Renee couldn't handle the hurt anymore and ended the marriage. He married again, this time to Perla Ferrar. At first, things seemed better, but he returned to his old habits. Slash continued seeing other women, causing pain once again. In 2014, Perla decided to leave him because she couldn't accept his constant cheating anymore. Even after his second marriage ended, he didn't change. Slash kept dating many women without caring about loyalty or feelings. He became famous through his music, but he is also remembered for his inability to be faithful or respectful to others. 21. Tommy Lee. A famous drummer in the band Motley Crue, Tommy Lee was known for living a wild life. He loved parties, music, and being famous, but he often hurt people close to him because he was not faithful. Married to Heather Locklear in the 1980s, Tommy seemed happy, but he had many girlfriends behind her back. Heather soon found out the truth and felt very hurt. She left him in 1993 because he could not be loyal to her. Later, he married Pamela Anderson. They tied the knot after just 4 days together. At first, their marriage seemed full of excitement, but soon, Tommy started acting the same way again. He lied and had relationships with other women. Pamela was hurt many times and ended the marriage in 1998. Even after that, he did not change. Tommy's life showed the dark side of being a famous rock star, hurting others while chasing fun. 22. Nikki Sixx. Playing bass guitar in Motley Crue, Nikki Sixx lived a life full of danger and bad choices. He used substances and often lied to the people he loved, doing things without caring about the results. Writing a book about his life called The Heroin Diaries, Nikki talked openly about hurting people he loved. Married to Brandy Brandt, he had children, but while she cared for their kids, he secretly dated many women. At first, he did not feel bad about it. His actions hurt his family and ended the marriage. After that, he married Donna DeRico, but he acted the same way again. Nikki was not good at staying faithful and often hurt the feelings of people who trusted him. In 2014, he married Courtney Bingham and tried to change and live a better life. Later, Nikki admitted he acted badly because he felt insecure. Still, his past actions made it hard for others to trust him again. 23. Vince Neil. His first wife was Beth Lynn. When Vince became famous, he could not resist partying and meeting other women. He did not even try to hide what he did. His marriage to Beth did not last long because she was tired of being hurt. Marrying Charisse Rudie. Next, Vince had a child with her, but he still could not change his ways. He often disappeared to party and spent time with other women. Charisse felt very sad and betrayed, so she left him. Later, he married Leah Gerardini. Even though he was older, Vince still could not stay faithful. He never said sorry for hurting others and always did what he wanted. 24. Bret Michaels. The famous singer for the band Poison, Bret Michaels was loved by fans for his cool style, big smile, and confident attitude on stage. But behind his rock star image, he had a secret side, one that often betrayed people who cared about him, hurting their feelings. Known for having many relationships, Bret often dated multiple people at the same time. Newspapers frequently wrote about his personal life because it was full of drama. His most famous scandal happened in the 1990s when he had an affair with Pamela Anderson, who was married at the time. While Pamela faced heavy criticism, Bret continued living the same way, juggling multiple girlfriends. His habit of being unfaithful wasn't just a short phase, it lasted many years. Always choosing excitement and new relationships over loyalty, he later starred in a TV show called Rock of Love, where women competed for his attention. This show made it clear that he had no interest in settling down. Many people who knew him shared how Bret would leave them once the excitement was over. Even though he had money, fame, and fans, he struggled to truly connect with someone. Some wondered if being famous made him act this way, or if it was just part of who he was. 25. David Lee Roth. The lead singer of the band Van Halen, David Lee Roth was known for his wild performances and exciting personality. Famous both on stage and off, he never followed the rules, especially when it came to relationships. David didn't hide his actions. He was proud of them. During Van Halen's most popular years, he was known for dating many different women, often bragging about how many girlfriends he had. For David, dating was like a game. He enjoyed meeting new people every day, and relationships never lasted long. Even when other rock stars began to settle down and get married, he refused to change. David never got married and never apologized for the way he lived. He believed that being in a relationship meant losing freedom, which he didn't want. People still wonder if he just didn't want to grow up, or if he was the last person to live that wild rock star life. Either way, David Lee Roth's story is tied to both his music and his choices. To some, he was a hero of freedom. To others, he showed that even famous people can have a dark side.